Were you somebody who was brought up in a fake family? By fake, I mean that the image to the world was very different to what happened at home. Were your family people who wanted to always look good so that how they looked in the world looked perfect or right? So their makeup was right, or their clothing was good, but there wasn't a lot of intimacy or emotional vulnerability or authenticity because the focus was on looking good, being nice, and being happy. The tools that families use who are like that are bypassing, where if you are feeling something, you are coached to be happy, nice, positive, grateful, peaceful, sweet. And you are told, come on, let's just be nice and happy now. We don't need to bring those up. So bypassing is one of the tools. Double binds is another of the tools that families like this use. A double bind is on the surface level, there are actions of, I love you, darling, come here, give me a hug. On the other, they're behaviors that are slighting, like, oh, don't hug that much. Oh, you don't need to be emotional now. Or where they'll say, all of you is welcome. I love all of you, darling. Oh, but no, none of that. We won't be angry now. Your anger's toxic, isn't it? So there's a push-pull of a mixed message that is just such a mindfuck. The other tool that families use who are a looking good family are denial. Oh, no, that didn't happen. Of course that didn't happen. Come on, just be nice now. A total denial of what happens. A further tool that they use is scapegoating. We are all happy, positive, and lovely. That child over there, that is the problem. This doesn't only happen in homes, this also happens in organizations where the culture of the school or the workplace or the government organization is about looking good. And when somebody speaks up about an issue, they are told, no, you've got the issue. You're the problem human in this club or whatever it might be, because you're being real and direct about the issues that are there and facing them and calling them out. So we will make out that you have the issue because we want to be looking good, smiling, happy. And it's a very plastic, empty feeling for those of us who are deeply emotional. Hands up if you relate, if you had that. I don't know how many times I heard in my family, come on now, we're just going to be happy, aren't we? There could be slights, aggression, anger towards me, but those were the boys, they could do that. The girls had to be nice and sweet, tolerate being treated like shit, because boys will be boys. That was just the sound. As soon as I heard myself doing that, that sounded just like my mother. This sort of fakeness. Oh God, so funny. It's kind of a higher pitched than the reality of what somebody's feeling. And you can feel that the sort of sliminess of that bypassing. The impact on this is that the folk who are scapegoated just feel like they are bad and wrong. This is added to by a tool of gaslighting, where people will go, no, I don't. No, our family's not like that. That didn't happen. Are you crazy or something? No, that never happened. Don't know what you're talking about. Like my mother of me being hit. No. I had a bit of a temper, but I wouldn't have done that. Yet 20 years later, the impact was still happening to me of that injury. So I knew it happened because that was the reality. So over time, with the bypassing, double binds of mixed messages, the denial, the scapegoating, the gaslighting, the person who is emotional, direct, vulnerable, authentic, begins to think that they are bad and the qualities inside of them are bad. I just did a training last night on healing from a toxic childhood. And I just want to read you a sentence without sharing who it is, because this is really important. This person said, growing up, the family was like that. The family stuffed everything away. and didn't value who she was. This is who she says that she is. I'm different, I'm deep, empathetic, sensitive, intense, loyal, vulnerable, direct, and emotional. All of those are beautiful qualities. But in a family that is looking good and focused on, I need to be an upcoming human being, upper class or middle class, looking good in the world, have what the Joneses have my horses, have my nice car, have my nice clothes. When they're focused on that materialism and looking good, the vulnerability, the emotionality, the directness of addressing issues is dismissed as bad and wrong and useless. And those of us who had that, and we were that emotional child, we feel all the emotions of those around us, and we begin to internalize that as though we are bad, as though there is something wrong with us. So then we judge all those qualities of vulnerability, directness, emotionality. None of those are bad. The capacity to be emotional and feel what is going on is beautiful. It's a barometer of the emotional health of a family. It's really, really essential. The capacity to be direct deals with issues and talks about them. The capacity to be vulnerable creates connection and deepens relationships. None of these are bad things. All of them are good. But when you're brought up in a family that treats you like that, you begin to think, oh gosh, there's scamming by somebody. All right. Let me just turn that scamming off. So I want you to know that you yourself are somebody who is beautiful in yourself. And I don't want you to internalize that shame from a family that was about looking good to make you wrong about who you are. I want you to actually focus on loving who you are for the differences that you have. Oh gosh, I'm really stunned by the level of scamming on here. That's so weird. All right. So what I want you to do is notice the qualities of who you are, your emotionality, your sensitivity, your vulnerability. And I want you with each one of it to share, to see what is the goodness in that. Why are you so lovable? How does that serve you? How does that deepen connections and grow who you are? Because so often we are made wrong for who we are rather than actually blossoming into who that is. So this directness, this emotionality, this vulnerability is not something to heal or to fix because it's not wrong. The fact that your family judged it to be wrong and bypassed you, denied you, scapegoated you, treated with double binds, gaslighted you, doesn't mean you were wrong. Those behaviors weren't okay. Those behaviors were sidelining you to keep the status quo rather than actually have real and deep connections. So instead of thinking that you are a problem because you believe that you were bad, that needs to be saved or healed or fixed or changed, I want you to open up to these capacities and unshame yourself and see what are these aspects of you. You grow more depth. You have fewer but stronger connections. You have the capacity to feel the range of what you are going through. All of these are beautiful qualities. I want you to stop thinking that you are bad and instead stretch into these things. A few months ago, I was going through an utterly hellish time with a bunch of people telling me that I was too direct, that I was wrong, that my openness made people feel uncomfortable. And I spoke to a friend of mine who was like, how could you be more like that? So you know what I did? I went out and I looked on Amazon for trolls. And I bought little trolls that are cheeky, like smiley, with warped faces. And I put them outside on the awning outside so that every day I see those trolls and I remind myself to be more real. Being real isn't being a bitch, or it isn't saying something to hurt somebody, or it isn't putting somebody down. That's not what I'm talking about when I'm being direct. To be direct is to name the undercurrents that are there. To be real is to share, hey, when that happened, I didn't like it and it felt uncomfortable, and this is how I like to be treated. To be vulnerable is to say, I'm feeling really scared right now. None of these things are wrong. All of them are beautiful. They are strengths. They are the things that have made you resilient and beautiful and different. Had you grown up in an authentic, welcoming family, you would be valued. You would be celebrated. People would be grateful for you naming the things that you can see with the level of sensitivity that you have, that you were brought up into a family that didn't see you and get you. Isn't your fault. Now, I want you to celebrate who you are and be around those who really enjoy your capacity to go deep, to dive deeply into who you are. If you're wanting some support with that, I did do a training last night and you can watch the replay. I'll see if I've got a link to it. I haven't got a link. I'll just quickly write a link for it. It was called Toxic Childhood Recovery Journey. And here's the link. It's actually in the comments, so you can get it if you like. And folk on the call, I shared things that I haven't shared before, that I usually, I shared a few things of the things that I normally teach about owning what you're feeling and working with how to work with the past, present, and future right now of issues that happened then that make fears in the future, and how to actually sustain that now. But I also talked about the paradoxes in the healing journey, that sometimes there's nothing to heal, but actually you need to grow the parts of you that were shamed and made wrong and develop them into strengths so that you are no longer ashamed of yourself. You are no longer hiding who you are because of other people's judgment, and you're really shining in yourself. I believe in you. Do check out the Toxic Childhood Recovery Journey. It's a beautiful training. Next week, I will have it in a little hub with sections for you, and you'll be able to watch that. I loved doing it. I'm sending you love, and if you do it, fill in the survey so that I can hear how you found it. All right, I'm sending you love. Bye.